Ever think about how something made nearly 1,000 years ago could still be around today? I'm talking like intricate details, precious metals, you name it.
It's really something, isn't it?
Well, get ready because that's exactly what we're diving into today. The Gloucester Candlestick.
Ah, classic.
It's this incredible piece of history, and trust me, it's way more than just a pretty face. Or should I say gilded face?
Right.
So are you ready to, let's say, shed some light on this ancient artifact?
I am. I'm very excited. Always up for a good history deep dive, especially with something as unique as the Gloucester Candlestick.
Me too, and we've got some great sources lined up for us. Articles from the Victoria and Albert Museum, some background from Wikipedia, and of course, your expert insights, which I always appreciate.
Well, thank you. It's a fascinating object, to
Yeah.
say the least.
So first things first, this candlestick is old.
Oh, yeah.
Like seriously old. It was made sometime between 1104 and 1113, which, for anyone who doesn't have their medieval timeline memorized,
Right.
is even before the Magna Carta.
Wow, that puts it into perspective.
Right. Just imagine everything that candlestick must have witnessed.
I know. It's incredible, isn't it, to think it's survived all these centuries. It really makes you wonder about the people who created it, who used it. A real window into the past.
Totally. And it's a prime example of English Romanesque metalwork, too.
Yeah.
Think about grand cathedrals, intricate carvings, that sort of thing, and a real focus on religious symbolism.
Absolutely. This candlestick fits right into that world, doesn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
It really showcases the skill and artistry of the craftspeople from that era.
They were incredibly talented.
Okay, but let's talk about the actual candlestick itself for a minute, because it's not exactly what you'd call, I don't know, minimalist, is it?
No, definitely not.
I mean, it's covered in these incredible details, figures, mythical creatures, foliage. It's almost overwhelming.
It's definitely not shy on detail. But that's part of what makes it so fascinating. In the English Romanesque period, every element, every figure often carried symbolic weight. It's like they're trying to tell a story without using any words.
Okay, so walk me through this. We've got human figures, dragons, what else? What kind of story are they telling?
Well, you'll notice some figures have their hands placed over the mouths of others. This motif pops up quite a bit in medieval art.
Oh, interesting. I've never noticed that before.
It's subtle, but it's there. And it speaks to the complex relationship between speech and silence. Was it about censorship? The importance of contemplation? It's open to interpretation, but it definitely adds a layer of intrigue, don't you think?
For sure. It makes you think about how differently they viewed communication back then. Today, everyone's all about speaking their minds, but this feels much more, I don't know, symbolic.
Exactly. And then you have these figures that seem to be drawn towards the light at the top of the candlestick, perhaps a metaphor for the pursuit of knowledge or spiritual enlightenment. Remember, this was a time of deep religious devotion, and that's definitely reflected in the art.
Right, right. And what about the dragons? I always think of those as guardians of some sort.
Well, they can be. They often represent primal forces or even the devil himself, depending on the context. But you'll also find them associated with protection. In this case, with the Gloucester Candlestick, I think their presence just adds to the overall sense of drama. You know, this idea of a battle between good and evil playing out right there on this everyday object.
Wow, a battle playing out on a candlestick. It's incredible how much meaning they packed into every detail.
I know, it's really impressive.
But it's not just the artistry that's impressive, right? The materials themselves are pretty remarkable, too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not your everyday bronze, is it?
You're right, it's pretty unique. The analysis shows a much higher percentage of silver than you typically find in bronze, which is, well, a bit extravagant for a candlestick, don't you think?
That's what I was thinking. Why so much silver?
Right. And there are traces of other metals, too. Copper, zinc, lead, even arsenic.
Arsenic, like the poison.
Yes, but in very small amounts, of course. It's more likely a byproduct of the smelting process, but still. This has led some experts to speculate that the metal might have actually come from melted down coins.
Melted down coin. So it wasn't just a candlestick. It was potentially a little treasury all in one.
Exactly. It speaks volumes about the ingenuity and resourcefulness of these medieval craftspeople. They were working with what they had available, and in this case, it seems like they may have repurposed old coins to create something new and extraordinary.
I love that. Talk about recycling.
Right. It makes you wonder about the stories those coins could tell, doesn't it? If only they could talk.
It really does make you wonder about the stories they could tell. Speaking of stories, this candlestick has had a pretty wild ride of its own, hasn't it? I mean, didn't it start out in Gloucester Cathedral?
It did.
But then it ends up in Le Mans Cathedral, which is in France. That's quite a journey for a candlestick. What's the story there? How did it get from England to France?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And unfortunately, it's one of those historical mysteries that may never be fully solved. We know it was donated to Gloucester Cathedral by Abbot Peter sometime between 1104 and 1113. It's even got an inscription.
Oh, right. I was reading about that. It's quite a mouthful, isn't it? Something about light and virtue and...
This flood of light, this work of virtue, bright with holy doctrine, instructs us so that man shall not be benighted in vice.
That's the one. It's almost like its own little sermon right there on the side.
It is, and it adds another layer of meaning to the candlestick itself. But then, as you said, it turns up in Le Mans Cathedral. And how it got there, well, that's where the trail goes a little cold.
So no one knows for sure how it got to France. Come on, there have to be some theories. Stolen goods, maybe. Was there a medieval black market for priceless artifacts?
Right. Wouldn't that be something? Well, there's been speculation that it might have been taken during one of the many conflicts between England and France.
Ah, the good old days of constantly warring with France.
Exactly. Or perhaps it was part of a more, shall we say, diplomatic exchange.
A peace offering. Maybe someone really wanted it on the other side of the English Channel.
It's possible, but honestly, we may never know the full story. The fact that it made its way to France and then eventually back to England centuries later is remarkable enough.
Hold on. It came back to England. After France, where did it go?
Oh, it goes even further afield than that. From Le Mans, it kind of disappears for a while. And then, centuries later, it resurfaces in the hands of a Russian prince.
Wait, what? A Russian prince? What was a medieval English candlestick doing in Russia? That's incredible.
I know, it's like something out of a movie. But the journey doesn't end there.
Of course not. This candlestick gets around. So how did it get out of Russia?
Well, this well-traveled candlestick eventually finds its way to an auction in 1861.
An auction. I can only imagine the bidding war on that one.
Right. It must have been intense. But in the end, it was acquired by, drumroll please, the Victoria and Albert Museum in London, its current home.
Talk about a journey. From a cathedral in England to another cathedral in France, then to Russia, and finally back to England. This candlestick has more frequent flyer miles than I do.
I know, right? It really makes you appreciate the long and winding paths objects can take through history. You never know where they'll end up or what stories they'll pick up along the way.
Absolutely. But hey, speaking of stories, it's not just history buffs who've taken an interest in this candlestick, right? I hear it even made a cameo in a novel.
That's right. The Gloucester Candlestick is featured in A.S. Byatt's novel, The Children's Book.
Really? That's amazing. What do you think is about this candlestick in particular that sparked her imagination? It makes you realize, doesn't it, how even something created centuries ago can still capture the imagination. It's pretty remarkable.
It is, and it makes you think, what objects from our own time will have that kind of staying power, you know? What will future generations look back on and consider to be the masterpieces of our era?
Right. What will they find in the museums of the future?
Exactly. It's a fascinating question to ponder, isn't it? Will it be something from our digital age, do you think? Like maybe that smartphone in your pocket? Will that be a relic of a bygone era? Studied for clues about how we lived and communicated?
It's funny to think of it that way, but you're right. Future historians might be digging through our digital landfills trying to piece together our social media posts.
Exactly. Or maybe it'll be something a little more tangible, something crafted by hand, like the Gloucester Candlestick that stands the test of time.
It's true. There's a certain timelessness, I guess, to something made with such skill and artistry. But, you mentioned earlier that this candlestick is featured in A.S. Byatt's novel, The Children's Book, and it got me thinking, what is it about this specific candlestick, do you think, that resonated with her? Why this one?
That's a great question. And while I can't claim to know exactly what was going on in A.S. Byatt's brilliant mind, I have a feeling it's the mystery surrounding the candlestick that lends itself so well to fiction.
The mystery.
Yeah. I mean, here you have this beautiful, intricately crafted object with a story literally etched into every curve and figure, and yet so much of its history remains unknown. It's like a blank canvas for the imagination.
You're right. It does make you want to go back and take a closer look at all those details. Try to decipher the stories they're trying to tell. Almost like you could unlock some secret code.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? This candlestick, forged in a time so different from our own, it still has the power to spark our curiosity, to make us think about craftsmanship and symbolism and the long, winding paths objects can take through history.
It's true. It really highlights how something crafted centuries ago can still resonate with us today, prompting questions about our own relationship with art, with history, with even just the everyday objects we surround ourselves with. And who knows, maybe our most cherished possessions, the ones we think nothing of today, will one day be telling our stories to future generations. A little strange to think about, but kind of cool too.
It is, and I think that's maybe the most important takeaway from our deep dive into the Gloucester Candlestick. It reminds us that the objects we create and interact with today, they'll inevitably shape how future generations will understand us. It's a legacy we're all crafting every day, whether we realize it or not.
That's a great point. It's definitely given me a lot to think about. And who knows, maybe next time I light a candle, I'll think about Abbot Peter, the incredible legacy he unknowingly left behind. This has been a fascinating deep dive. Thanks so much for joining me.
The pleasure was all mine, really. Anytime.